G'day YouTube, Down to Bricks here and welcome to this week's video. After I finished building the UCS AT-AT, I still wanted to build big Star Wars and I had the Imperial Star Destroyer still to build. So I built that, so I built the two back to back and I had such a joy building those two sets and it really reminded me of building the Millennium Falcon. So I thought, why not do a video with the big three? Well, I guess we don't have the Imperial Shuttle, we don't have the Super Star Destroyer, we don't have the Death Star 2 on the table, but let's just go with these two. The big three, really iconic vehicles and ships, aren't they? So today we're going to be talking about the cost, the interior, the design, the play features, the minifigures, the presents. Lots to talk about and all in relation to each other. So versus against the three to see which come out best in which categories, and then we might top it off with my final thoughts on which set I think is best overall. So let's jump straight into it. So we've got to start with the mandatory statistics on each set, don't we? So we have, of course, the Millennium Falcon here on the left. It is set 75192, 7,541 pieces. It's from 2017. Comes with 8 minifigs. I'd rather think that there's 7 minifigs because one is BB-8. In the middle, of course, we have the brand new 2021 all-terrain armored transport. It is set 75313, has 6,785 pieces and 9 minifigs. And on the right, we have the Imperial Star Destroyer from 2019. It is set number 75252. Has 4,784 pieces and 2 minifigs. So first up, we're going to talk about cost and which one we think is the better value out of all these sets. So I'm just going to talk US and Australian dollars. So let's start with the Millennium Falcon. It's 800 US, 1300 Australian. The AT-AT is the same, 800 US, 1300 Australian. And the Imperial Star Destroyer is 700 US and $1,100 Australian. So straight off the bat, at the same price as the AT-AT but with a higher piece count, I think we have to say the Millennium Falcon comes in as best value out of all of these sets. I know a lot of people think the Imperial Star Destroyer is too expensive for the piece count. You have to take into account that there is a lot of large pieces in that build, a lot of big plates. So next up is the minifigures. Well, with the Star Destroyer only having 2 minifigs, that definitely drops that out of the race. So again, it's down to the AT-AT and the Millennium Falcon. Now, let's say we do include the BB-8 for the Millennium Falcon. So it's got 8 minifigures against the 9 minifigures for the AT-AT. Now, the interesting point with the Millennium Falcon is we get 2 sets of crew. So we can have the Force Awakens crew or we can have the original trilogy crew for the Millennium Falcon. So that's interesting. But I think as a whole, the 9 minifigures, of course we get one more anyway, but with the 9 minifigures for the AT-AT, I think they're more of a cohesive unit for that build with all the stormtroopers and the drivers and General Veers. So for me, I'm going to give the minifigs to the AT-AT. Play features, okay, so let's start with the Imperial Star Destroyer. There's no play features whatsoever, really. The most, I guess you could say, is we do have the Rebel Blockade Runner, so we do have that. If you could sort of play with that, we can take panels off, sections off the Star Destroyer to pick it up to move it around, but it's not really a play feature, is it? So again, that's going to drop that out of the race and it's going to come down to the AT-AT and the Millennium Falcon. Now, I actually think it's pretty close between the two. Let's have a chat about the Millennium Falcon. We have the cockpit we can put all the minifigures in. We have some interior detail. You can place the minifigures around. We have a loading ramp. We have a drop-down cannon. We have seats to put minifigures in for the quad blaster cannon. We have the swap-out dish that you can change out between Force Awakens and the original trilogy, although that's probably more of a display option. So lots there in the play department. With the AT-AT, again, we have a cockpit that we can put all the minifigures in. We actually have more space in that cockpit so you can actually really play around with what minifigures you want to have in there. We have the small side door panel you can lift out just to get into your minifigures. You have the I guess again, probably more of a display option where you can have Luke grappling up, but we do have a hatch that you can open to throw his thermal detonator. Of course, you can remove all the panels, and there's a wealth of play room if you want to inside that AT-AT. 40 seats, 40 troops. If you want to go and buy yourself 40 troops and deck out all the seats, there's that option. You've got these speeder bikes that you can take in and out and have a play with those as well. We have the recoil function on the blasters on the chin of the AT-AT. So all in all, they both have lots, don't they? So, oh man, to try and edge out a winner there. Look, to be fair, I think I have to give them both a point for play features. Now let's get on to the interior. So again, the Imperial Star Destroyer, no interior whatsoever. I know a lot of people got a bit upset about not having an interior. Personally, doesn't bother me one little bit, because I'm not going to be removing panels and I mean, to get that look of this ship, to try and get all those big panels off, quite difficult. And just to have a little section inside the place of minifigs, I just don't think it really works for a UCS set, to be honest. So interior, again, that one drops out of the race, and we come down to the AT-AT and the Millennium Falcon. Now the Millennium Falcon does have some interior detail. It's mainly down one side, of course, so we don't have a complete interior layout, whereas with the AT-AT, it is absolutely loaded with interior detail. It is fully decked out from head to tail with interior detail. So a clear winner for interior goes to the AT-AT. Okay, let's talk about the design of the build. So the Millennium Falcon is really a rehash from the old 2007 Millennium Falcon. So design-wise, while there is definitely some improvements, I don't think it's enough to bring it up to the other two models, whereas the Imperial Star Destroyer is a huge improvement over the old model. The interior design of it, the structure in the interior makes it a much more rigid build. Having the clip-on panels instead of the old magnet system is a big improvement as well. So there's definitely a big step up in design for the Imperial Star Destroyer. So now we have to talk about the AT-AT, and I have to say, design-wise, it is such an impressive build, from the ankles to the adjustable knees and shoulders to the head to the whole neck design. To have such a tall build, a heavy build, to be so stable is really an achievement on LEGO's behalf. So without a doubt, I have to give design to the AT-AT, just for the sheer genius of being able to articulate the legs for such a large build. Just super impressive. Okay, so up to our last category here now, and that is the presence, which takes your breath away every time you look at it. Which one really stands out on the shelf when someone walks in the room? Which set do people notice? Well, I've got to say all three, to be honest. I mean, they're all very, very impressive. But overall, I think I'm going to have to go with the Imperial Star Destroyer. Just the sheer size of it. I mean, it's just such an improvement over the old Star Destroyer. The amount of detail, the extra detail, especially along the back in the engines, it's just a huge improvement. And it's just super impressive. Yes, it's all grey. There's no flashy features. There's no interior. There's none of that. But boy, oh boy, does it look good on the shelf. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you can never go past the Millennium Falcon, but in this instance, I'm going to give shelf presence to the Imperial Star Destroyer. So let's tally up the points of just in these categories, which one comes out on top. So we've got the Imperial Star Destroyer took out presence, so it has 1 point. We have the Millennium Falcon took out the best price per piece, and it also tied with play features, so it had 2 points. And coming out at number 1 is the AT-AT at 4 points. So it took out the interior, took out play features with the Millennium Falcon, it took out the minifigures, and it took out best design. Now, going into this, I had no idea where I was going to go with this point system. So I'm a little bit surprised actually that the AT-AT came out on top. Does that mean it's the best set on this table for me? No, it doesn't, because you're never, ever for me going to go past a Millennium Falcon. So on points, the AT-AT takes it in these categories. Personally, I love the Millennium Falcon. And then to rank them from there, personally, very hard. I honestly think the AT-AT and the Imperial Star Destroyer do come in pretty close. I mean, truly, they're all magnificent builds. You can't go past any of them. Yes, they are bloody expensive. There is no doubt about that. But for me, the pride of my whole collection is collecting Star Wars UCS sets. So for me, these sets are a no-brainer to have in my collection. It's what we work hard for, isn't it? To be able to enjoy the things that we really want in our collection. So that's my thoughts on it. And what's your thoughts on these categories? Do you agree with my point system there? Off the top of your head, going with your heart, your gut feeling, what is your favourite set here amongst these three beautiful builds? So let me know in the comments. Let's all have a chat about it. Is there something I've missed? Let me know in the comments and we can have a chat about that as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more Star Wars, more Lego, more action figures, more Transformers, all the good stuff in life, isn't it? Hit that subscribe button, because I've got stacks more to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.